There it is. You look cozy. Hello,
I am cozy.
Mom.
Hello. Why?
So this is my mom, KRISTY DARRAGH, also known as KRISTY Beanie. Your maiden name was Beanie. Let's just unpack that first before we actually get into the podcast. Your maiden name was Beanie. What the fuck was that like growing up?
You know, it's a very fine Irish name, and it helped me build a lot of character going through high school with the last name Beanie.
Because your first name.
Well, my first name's KRISTY, obviously. KRISTY Beanie. So Beanie became Wiener, Weenie. You know, when you're in 8th grade, you'd love to say Weenie. You know, it was back in the 70s.
I'm 29 and I still love to say Weenie.
Yeah. So Beanie was Weenie, and KRISTY became Krusty. So Krusty Weenie.
And then Krusty Wiener.
And then Krusty Wiener is ultimately where it
was your
landed.
nickname.
So, you know, going through school, but I was a prankster. I mean, I was always goofing around, and so I didn't care.
So you were one of Grandma, Grandpa, Dale, Steve, Andy, Beth, KRISTY, Pete, Tony, Kit.
Dale.
So
There's 8 of us.
8 of you guys.
8 brothers and sisters, yeah.
And you guys grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, outside of St. Louis, Missouri in Wright City.
Yeah. Most of my formative years that I remember were in a small town that had 365 people. Yeah, you just spit on me. Okay.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, 365 people, and I think they have 1,050, and this is 50 years later. They have now 1,050 people.
So it's still a really small town.
Yeah.
And you go back from time to time.
Yeah, but that was, you know, that's where I started 6th grade and, you know, went to high school. I think there was 38 in my graduation class.
Oh, my God. And like who you are now, you would never know that you grew up in this like, I don't want to say podunk town because I feel like
it wasn't podunk town.
But I feel like podunk means you're stupid and poor,
No,
which
a lot of very, very successful people came out of that class of 38
oh, yeah?
people.
Name one besides you.
Oh, no, there is.
No,
There
okay.
is.
So you had how many brothers and how many sisters?
Okay, so there were 2 sisters and 4 brothers. No, well,
Dale.
3. I mean, me, there's a total of 3, but I had 2 sisters.
Oh, you had 2. Okay, sorry. Doink.
So, yeah. So I was towards the end. I was the youngest girl and had 2 younger brothers. So the last 3 of us, my parents were tired. And so the last 3 of us, we could do no wrong. But the other thing is there was no baby pictures. There's no baby pictures.
Why?
Because
they were over it.
Well, they hardly had any cameras anyway because I was born in the 50s.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I remember seeing this one photo of you that you had like a cloth diaper on your head because you guys were so poor that your parents used a cloth diaper on your head as a hat in the wintertime.
Yeah, you know, we didn't know we were poor and we thought we were very happy. But now, in retrospect, we were really, really, really poor.
And just for like hindsight, you co-own a multi-million-dollar company. So like this is kind of where I'm going out with this literal diaper rags to riches story of your life of growing up in the backwood of misery. And how the fuck you got out. Because, you know, I said something, I do sometimes do Q&As on this podcast, and someone had written in about a question about if I was ever going to have kids. And I said that, like, you know, I think it's not only my generation that doesn't really care about that, but like me and Megan, my sister, talk about how all the time we never really had that like nurturing need to have a kid the same way.
I didn't.
But you had 2 kids.
Well, you know, I didn't have this longing to have children.
Then what the fuck did you do it for?
Well, no, because then I fell in love and I was late, and it was, you know, in the
You were
80s.
late for what?
Well,
Dinner?
I was late in age that I got married and had kids because it was in the 80s. It was not normal to get married as late as I did.
Which was 30 years old.
Dad was 38 and I was...
My dad was 38.
Your dad? Yeah, Dad was 38 and I was 30, and so that was considered very late to have children. And so I had been very single for a long time and had a whole lot of fun. And
But
so
don't fall too far from the tree.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go back to your childhood because you had so many brothers and sisters.
Uh-huh. But we were tight because Dad
Yeah.
was a Baptist preacher. My dad was a Baptist preacher. Your grandpa, a Baptist preacher. And so, of course, nobody believed in birth control. And so all of the siblings, we were all pretty much a year and a half to 2 years apart. So you really got this step.
Whoa. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
grandma like just,
Popping them out.
but then like would immediately get pregnant right after she
Yeah.
had a kid.
Well, my sister's 15 months older than me.
you. So that's
So, like, literally-
as soon as you could have sex
soon as you
again
get-
after. Jesus, poor grandma.
And that just
She's
went on
dead.
and on and on and on. And then I think Mom had 2 miscarriages somewhere along the
Really?
way.
I didn't know that.
I think she was 2. Steve, did she have 2 miscarriages or
My
one?
uncle Steve is also in town.
1 miscarriage. So she was always pregnant. But anyway, what that made for was a very, very tight-knit brother and sister
but did
clan.
that make you go? Because I feel like you look at the Kardashians and they're like, we grew up so tight. I want to have like 12 kids too.
Oh,
like my
no,
family.
no, no,
Were you
no,
like,
no, no,
oh,
no.
this is batshit cray cray. I do not want to fucking
No.
do this. Or
My DNA was, in retrospect, and I can see I'm in my mid-60s now, and I look back and I go, okay, this is who I was. And my DNA was never real heavy-duty nurturing mother. Mm-hmm. It was a very
I
goal-oriented.
thought you were going to say gold digger.
Goal-driven. No. I always wanted to be more. And so growing up so poor, which I didn't know I was poor, and I feel like I really had a happy childhood. But once I discovered, wow, there's this thing to be had, and all you have to do is work. Really? So I've worked 7 days a week pretty much since then.
Were like, you got a job when you were super young.
When I was 13,
You started waitressing.
I started being a bus girl at
a bus they, as we would say.
What do you call them?
I'm fucking with you.
Okay. Well, anyway, so then I would work after school. I would work on the weekends, and then I never really stopped working.
What was it like being a preacher's daughter in such a small town? Like, were you a total whore because grandpa was like over it and not paying attention, or were you pretty strict because of the upbringing of grandma being like super religious?
Okay, so you hit on 2 different things. You have to understand, Mom and Dad split up. They didn't get divorced, but they quit living together as a married couple when I was about 6 years old.
Oh, you were young.
So I didn't get to grow up with my dad, which created a whole nother set of issues.
You don't say.
Mom, so Mom was the influencer. So Dad was a real strict Baptist preacher, but I never grew up around him. I'd see him on the weekends, but Mom was way stricter than any
Really?
Baptist strict. Like the devil's under your bed and will come get you.
Oh, is that why you still have nightmares about the devil showing up in the middle of your
man,
bedroom?
I can't watch anything that has to do with devil and demons. I can't. I'm in my 60s.
Hate BuzzFeed Unsolved.
No.
Wait, I have a question, Steve. You just can shake your head yes or no. Is it true that Grandpa used to use you guys as children to get money for the church and pretend like dress you up like in rags and put dirt on your face and ask for money?
On his TV show.
One time for Beth and Christy.
He did.
So that's a yes.
Yeah.
So Grandpa was kind of a scam artist.
But you know what?
I don't have a relationship with him, so I kind of just talk shit.
He needed props.
His children.
Yes. For the greater cause, because he wanted to have people send in money for
The church.
Well, it was a camp that he had for underprivileged children from the inner city.
Oh, don't make him sound like a saint.
I'm
now.
telling you the truth.
But do you consider him a saint if he scammed? If he
didn't
scammed his way to
scam is if
sainthood?
you did that and you took the money and you kept it and didn't spend it on the cause. So he needed props to represent. Look, these little kids that you see on TV that say, "Oh, please send me money,
Please,
because
have another.
please, yeah, okay." So how's
That's
that?
B-roll from Getty Images.
How's that a whole lot different from
You know, I
that?
heard
Because he
something-
didn't keep the money; he spent it on the
Yeah.
cause.
So, okay, so we never got back to like how you became so rowdy and such a clown. Because if you had grandma who was such a strict mother for you, how
that
were you
was
able
hereditary.
to be?
And you got that too. You read it. It's
Yeah.
hereditary. It's my dad's mother was like that, and very, very witty, fast, and just always saw the cup half full, and
Comedy of life.
just looking for the just on a constant upper, like just happy.
Drugs.
No drugs. That's a thing that it can really be that way. Like, and you have
relate.
it.
Oh,
You have it. You're
I'm
witty.
just plagued with the.
Well, you got a lot of
existentialism.
stuff.
We'll get there.
Okay, yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about something that you don't ever really talk about, which was the death of one of your brothers.
Oh yeah, you can't go there.
Oh, well, we're gonna.
Nobody said you could go there. In this.
Well, I think that really shapes a person, but not to say like there were so many of you, it didn't matter, but like there were so many of you that you had this support system after it happened that maybe it affected you in a different way. That if you were a one other sibling that passed, or there was 8 of you.
No, but that's different. We were kind of in groups,
Like cliques.
Those eggs hatched on Thursday. The next group hatched on Friday.
Yeah.
I was a Saturday group. So my little brother that died, he was a year different in age than I.
So you guys were super
He was
tight.
like 4 and I was
Yeah.
5, something like that. And so I can't remember a whole lot. I think I told my brother this many times. I'm sure I
There's
have blocked it
something,
out,
yeah.
but we were almost like twins.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was an unfortunate accident where my father accidentally
You ran
over him and he died. And the whole family saw it happen. And so the trauma.
So it was like 9 of you scarred of seeing
well,
like the death of-
everybody handles things differently, but I know for me, I can't remember a lot. And I think Steve remembers, my brother that's here with us. He's 6 years older than I. And so we're not that much different in age, but he remembers everything. And we were talking about that today. And I can't remember anything in my childhood.
I
mean,
wonder why. Maybe your brain.
So then what happens is I get, I've got a little bit of ADD,
just a
that
little.
real driven kind of thing. So I think that gets blocked and things get categorized and then just head down bulldozed on a mission because I wanted more because we had nothing.
When did you first experience like the taste of opulence? Like when did you realize you were poor?
Probably when I started dating and getting out of my little town. So I'd go on a date and we'd go down to St. Louis.
The big city with
We're
the
going to the
arches.
city, yes.
Yes.
And I didn't really have the clothes to wear, and so pretty much at that same time, whenever you're a teenager, and you feel like that peer pressure, and so dating and then hormones and all that, and
And
then
you were getting like 5th hand-me-downs.
oh, I never had clothes. The church would give us the clothes.
And
People
bitch,
would bring.
now you got Valentino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's crazy.
So one of my good friends that I love dearly, Jane.
Yeah. I love
Don't
Jane.
be saying last names. Anyway, I posted something and she goes, "You're such a designer whore," and I just laughed because honestly, in that picture, I had Chanel tennis shoes on, and then I had the Chanel purse, and then I had something else, designer, and it's probably overcompensating. But look, it's kind of like a hobby too, because.
But you also like, it's not like you're a housewife who just like goes and spends her.
I'm not a housewife.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like you're just like using.
And
your
not that
husband's
there's
money.
anything wrong with being a housewife,
Yes.
whatever the definition of a
The world
housewife
needs
is.
that.
What is the definition of a housewife?
I mean,
what
like
is it?
Stay-at-home dads.
That's a housewife.
Exactly. Well, we should just call it
So
the
I'm gonna
stay-at-home
say-
parent. But my point being is like it's always been your money that you're spending designer money on. It's always been yours. It's never been anyone else's that you were.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. So like it feels different. Like when you're calling yourself a designer whore, it's like because you motherfucking earned it.
Yeah, but still, yeah. But
Do you
I
think
know
you're
I
ridiculous?
overcompensate. Huh?
Do you think you're ridiculous?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Not even close.
Oh, okay.
I think I can be so much more ridiculous than I am.
Really?
Oh my, what?
Okay. Back to your childhood.
I think we just were onto something there.
Okay, so how did you get out of a small town? I mean, this is like pre-social media. You couldn't see what like the other side of the world was like. You'd probably only heard of California and the ticker pictures and Miami and New York City. Like, how did you get out? Because I feel like a lot of people who listen to this podcast, write in about that they live in a small town or they don't have like the means to just move away and like I was really lucky that I could do that because, you know, I had your guys' support. But how did you do that?
Well, I always dated older men. Always, always, always.
Step one.
Okay,
get you a sugar daddy.
thus the father issues. I'm going to tell you, this will all make sense.
It'll
This will
come
all
full
make
circle.
sense. It'll make sense. So I always dated older men, and by older men, I mean 20 years older.
Whoa, 20 years older when you're a teenager is a lot older.
I know. When I was 19, my boyfriend was 40, and he was
Oh
an
my
executive
God.
with IBM.
What did your mom think?
Oh, honey.
She
I think she was so happy.
You, Steve, is it true that my mom was grandma's favorite?
Huh?
I think that each of them was a favorite at some point.
Oh, you claim that by far
Everybody knows.
you were grandma's favorite.
Everybody
By
knows.
far.
That's why we called her the pig.
Oh, you were called the pig?
Well, they called me Piglet.
Why? Because you'd suckle on your mom's teats?
Because I ate so much. No, I ate a lot. And everybody in my family's skinny, and I was fat.
Yeah.
Compared to
So
anyway,
how'd
so
you get out?
anyway, so he got a job promotion to California.
Were you even thinking about college?
I went to college for a semester and said, "This is really stupid."
What'd you go to school for?
Business administration.
Oh, that's why you've done so well for yourself as a business
For
administrator.
3 months, I went to school for that. And I said, "This is
Does
stupid."
it make sense? Does it
It's
make you
stupid.
sad that I've dropped out of 3 colleges? Or are you like, yeah, that's
No,
not good?
yeah, that was the right thing to do because it's so stupid. Because
It's so stupid.
it's stupid.
a scam.
It's a
College
scam.
is
No,
stupid.
I got out and started working.
Yes.
Working 2-3 jobs at a time, and opportunities presented themselves, and I recognized them. So when I moved to California with my boyfriend, and I got out there, I go, "Well, hey, say, I don't think we should really be a couple," because I just saw I was 19.
Wow. And you were like this skinny tan blonde, bleach blonde.
Yep.
Loud as fuck, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And just entered California like, here I am, California.
Yeah, but the funny thing is I could have, but I didn't date like a whole bunch of people. Like from him, I had another boyfriend, Rich, and you know who you are.
Oh, send him, DM him, at him, subtweet.
Whatever the hell that means. And so we were together like off and on for almost 10 years. And then my other boyfriend, Joe. So honestly, I stayed very long term with my relationships.
And this was all in LA.
All in LA.
And at this time, you haven't even picked your career path. You were doing a bunch of
No,
stuff.
what I did was I would be a cocktail waitress at night after I worked all day at a bank as a bank teller. And then at night, I'd go be a cocktail waitress at the country club in Menlo Park, California. And then
Menlo.
I'd work on Saturday and Sunday as a cocktail waitress and
So
Monday
you
back at
like
it.
working.
Because if you work, you can have things.
But
And
I think
I never had anything.
but now that you're 60s, you still only work.
I love to work.
That's what I'm
I love
saying.
my work, but
Yeah.
but that's where the ADD thing kicks in because I've always been project oriented. I have to have a project, and so if I wasn't doing the real estate thing, which I've been doing 35 years now, and but I do other projects while I'm doing real estate.
So when you were in your 20s, I won't say what family your boyfriend came from that you could have. I won't say who it was, but you could have been very, very listen, you make a lot of money, but you could have had a lot of money if you would have married a certain boyfriend that you had. Why didn't you? You had the opportunity to just say, I don't need to ever work another day in my life and just be hot.
Okay,
And I think given the opportunity, a lot of bitches would say,
no,
fuck
it's
it.
but see, honey, the thing is that he also came from a family that everybody worked. It just happened the family name, they, were very well off.
I
And
would love to see guesses in the comments of what family. You guys think
cannot
this is.
even, can't even.
I won't.
Don't even
I would
hint or even
never.
talk about it.
I would never.
No.
But it,
So anyway, so they were
imagine.
hardworking people. Just fact that they, had money. They were very hardworking people, and so I like to work hard, and they worked hard. But why didn't I stay with him? Was because I was 23. And what at 23, you don't, But we were together off and on until I met your dad.
Wow.
And so, like, it was one of those things where we really loved each other, but it just couldn't stay together for one reason
How do
or
you
another.
cut out someone that, like, clearly that's not a healthy relationship on and off for 10 years? Like, how did you cut a cord?
It was painful, but you know what? Our maturity levels, we both matured because we were young.
Yeah.
And so as we matured, we grew apart, and I think it made it okay.
Well, that's
it made
a
it better.
really interesting age because I said this a million times. And I'm sure confidants will hear me and know that I've said this a million times. But every year in your 20s is like doing a 180, not in a circle. It's like going different, complete. Like you are a completely different person.
You
every
change.
year.
You know what? You know how that caterpillar, is it a caterpillar turns into a butterfly?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
Mom.
that thing.
The girl who didn't
I'm going to do
graduate.
that, but I did graduate from high school.
Well, that's an accomplishment.
No, but anyway, so that's what I feel like the 20s are like.
Turning into a butterfly.
You're the cocoon that morphs into
You
the butterfly,
came
like
from a caterpillar into a fucking bald eagle with flames coming out of its ass.
shooting out my ass.
Yeah. You fucking soared.
Yeah, I was really dorky looking and a tomboy, and didn't care much about anything. But boy, when the hormones kicked in, I went whoa, and and then just really transformed into that butterfly thing. And then honestly, my best years were probably in my 50s. I think the 50s were the best decade. And you had your beauty
Which
and all
is
that stuff in the
crazy,
20s.
though.
But it was a struggle. I
Well,
mean,
it
I had a lot of
'cause
fun.
It was like,
but it was hard work.
Me and my sister were a fucking terror. The recession happened. Like,
oh my God, that was hard.
how was that the best decade?
Because confidence in my business was successful, and so then I got to be with my clients and just relax. Because you know how when you go on auditions and your armpits sweated down and you stained your shirt and you're telling me the stories about all the funny things that happen with the adrenaline when you're on an audition. Well, I did that every single day from my 30s through my 40s, and by the time I hit 50, my business is fully successful. I partnered up, bought into a partnership with my company, and I mean, I was so confident that I started to really see the people and have fun and be vested with them, and that gave the success more quality. And I think I enjoyed my 50s more because the business was just like a given. The money was there. It was a given that you were going to be fine financially, so that you could really get into the people aspect of it more. And I always did it for the people. I like people.
Which is funny because, like, I think you are a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, like in a different
very.
way than
You're very
like skydiving. Like, you wake up,
I like
jump out of bed. You're like, yes, another fucking day. And I'm like, oh, another fucking day.
No, when I wake up, I can feel like when my eyes
What's
open,
that like?
my whole body goes. I feel the hot rush of adrenaline, and I go.
What the fuck? I don't know that anyone knows that feeling.
I don't know. I didn't make it up. It happened.
I'm
and
so
so
jealous.
I just, I jump out of bed and I smile and I go, fuck, come on.
I know, and everyone else goes, oh, she's up. Oh, watch out.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you meet my dad, and did you ever think you were someone that was going to get married?
Well, I did. I wasn't real worried about it. I mean, I was at the age to where back in the 80s, by the time you got 30, back in the 80s, you were getting a little bit like getting to be an old maid kind of thing back then.
Like, what's wrong with her? If
But
she's
I
not
didn't. I
married?
was like having fun. And then I was on a plane to a party going from San Francisco to Arizona. And back in those days, you could smoke on the airplane. Of course, we all smoked and did all kinds of shenanigans. It was the 80s. And I was in the back of the airplane, having been up all night, partying all night. And I was like, well, I got to go smoke a cigarette. So I went to the back of the airplane, and this guy that looked like a cross between Richard Gere and Ryan O'Neal.
No one knows that second
Okay,
reference.
Google it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Lit my cigarette. And I looked over and went, damn. Of course, being the 80s, you know, we just thought it was going to be another fun little
Fling flang.
fling flang.
Good night.
But
And
long
goodbye.
story short is, I met your dad on an airplane, and we were married 3 months later. He lived in L.A.
That
and
is psychotic.
I lived in San Francisco. He lived in Los Angeles, so we'd see each other on the weekend. So,
Was it really a marriage?
when no,
Yeah.
no, it was totally real.
You
like,
guys got
yeah.
married in Vegas at the Little White Wedding Chapel, and you wore a pink Chanel cocktail dress as your wedding dress.
with a bow of
with
pink
a
feather.
bow of pink feathers coming out of your head. I cannot make this up. Married by Elvis. You know,
Elvis
some girls are
Presley
like,
did the-
I can't wait to wear my mom's wedding dress. I'm like, my mom had feathers coming out of her head, and she was probably doing
feathers
coke
coming
in the
up.
back of a limousine on her way to the Little White Wedding Chapel.
It was the 80s after all.
So, okay, so you got married. You are now joined, and a thing that I always say that I thought was so funny is that you married Dad because you say, I quote, because I didn't think I could find anyone else that loved me as much as he did.
No, he loved me like more than I could even imagine that somebody would love somebody. I went, oh my God, I never had anybody love me this much. This is cool. Father issue. Number. Oh, ding, 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 ding. Oh. See?
So what do you mean by, did you feel it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I loved your dad. Yeah, no, and I tease him.
He's still alive. You still love him.
Of course I still
You
love
said
your
I
dad.
loved.
No, back I'm saying past
Oh,
tense in the
okay.
80s. You said, did you love me?
No, you
Yeah, I
still
loved your dad. I mean, you know, but he was intensely in love with
He's a
me.
Libra.
Yeah, Leo and Libras.
Are supposedly the
Oh
best
my God.
combination. And me
And
and
I said,
Jared
you
are
know-
Libra and a Leo.
He's good looking. He got a job.
And he loves me.
And he loved me
a lot.
a lot.
A lot.
I think I'll do this.
So why didn't you want the big white wedding dress wedding?
Because I'd been
Traditional.
married in the 11th grade already. I already had my wedding. We forgot that
Over
part.
that part. I was just going to skip it because I didn't think it was very interesting, but I forgot that you got married
Well,
for what, like a month?
oh no, I think maybe a year or two.
Wait, I didn't know it was a year or two that you were married.
I was
in
the summer of
11th
my
grade.
11th grade. And I wasn't.
What the
Even, I
fuck was
wasn't
that? Is
pregnant.
that legal?
Yeah, I think was it legal?
She's looking at her brother.
Well, I'm looking at my attorney over there. Was that legal? Yeah.
How'd you
no,
get divorced?
for $395 in a coupon?
Wait, so you wore a big white wedding dress?
Well, we were poor, so
I recall.
I had a white silk caftan.
Caftan.
Yes, with a baby's breath
Wreath?
ringlet.
Oh, that's so 70s.
It was the Well, it was the 70s.
Oh, was it the 70s?
Yeah.
Were you weren't
70,
a hippie, though?
74. No, but that's why I had the white satin with the
Yeah.
baby breath.
How come I've never
ringlet.
seen any pictures? You don't have any?
I don't know where they are. I don't know
don't
what
have
happened.
any?
No, none.
Do you ever keep in touch with him?
Oh, this is a funny story.
Uh-oh.
I can't say his last name though, can I?
No, just say what happened.
Because his last name is so funny.
Well, he's not gonna ever listen to this, and no one's gonna.
Can you
look him
say
up.
it?
Say it.
Okay, so the funny thing is I went from a beanie to a nanny. And then when I got divorced, I said, okay, which is worse? Do I want to be a nanny or go back to beanie? Because I said, which one do I want
You
to
were
be?
crusty nanner.
Banani.
Crusty banana.
From a beanie to a nanny. And I said, I'm going back to beanie.
Oh, wow.
Because I think I'd rather be a beanie than a
So
nanny.
you didn't take his last name?
Well, when I got divorced, I took my maiden name back.
Oh, so you did
I
take
was
his
Christine,
name.
yeah,
You were
nanny.
Christy Nanny? Oh, God. It's hard to even say without
So when I met
cringing.
Mike Darragh, of the Irish clan, the Darragh, the Darragh clan, I went, thank you, God.
Oh.
I'll take one of those.
So you wanted to take Dad's last name.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Wouldn't you if you had a choice between Beanie
yeah, absolutely.
or Darragh?
I feel a very heavy responsibility to keep the Darragh name
I know
alive.
I didn't have any boys, and Dad was the last of his
I know.
name.
So, and Megan, my sister, will probably
Be a boy?
No. Well,
I don't know.
Like, do you think she'll keep a last name if she gets married? I feel like she's
not as independent
Liberal?
as you are, liberal as you are.
You mean she doesn't grow her leg hair out to be?
Oh, that is so gross. Okay, who said she could grow her hair out on her leg?
I said it.
It is okay. If I didn't,
Jared's shrugging right now.
I just looked and I said, Kelsey, if I saw from your knees down without seeing anything else, you look
I
like
love it.
a man.
So what?
It's not feminine.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, okay. Now just nice, soft. Rub it out soft.
Yeah, but
This
it's
is not
soft.
right.
It's not right.
It's not right.
You sound like
It doesn't feel good.
you sound like an old fogey.
No, honey.
I digress. My point being, I'm
Okay.
keeping the Darragh last name alive.
Okay.
Jared, are you
she
sad
just-
about that?
Darragh Lucas. Why can't you be Darragh Lucas?
Because I want my fucking name.
Well, why can't you have part of his too?
Why can't he have part of mine? Oh, gender norms, suck my cock.
See, I believe you got one because that hair on your leg. I swear to God, honey, it's just like
Oh, Mom, you're
maybe those
so
little
out of touch.
fishes weren't decided
Oh,
which way they were going to
jeez.
go
Well,
left
I do
or
have
right.
a lot of traditionally masculine.
No, I was a
energy.
tomboy, and you're a tomboy.
I don't know how people feel about the word tomboy anymore.
Oh, please, can I say that?
No,
anymore?
yeah, you can say it, but I'm saying that I think people.
A tomboy
use
means you played a lot of sports.
No, but I know, but my point being is like they would. Back in the 90s when I was born, I was called a tomboy a lot, and it was like, oh, a
What does it
girl who
implicate?
couldn't be like. You can't be feminine and also like sports. Like you gotta be a tomboy. You gotta play softball.
Kelsey,
And you can't wear.
because you weren't.
I know. I'm
you
saying times are changing. I don't know. Anyways, point is
Okay, back whatever
to
you wanna talk
so
about.
you're married with dad, and you decide to have kids.
Well, no,
But you
yeah.
don't have this motherly instinct, so you just did it because you were supposed to.
Well, you know what happens, and you guys will all find this out because you have no control, is there's a time in your life to where it's in us that you have this urge to have children.
I understand evolutionarily
And that's what happened to me.
biologically.
So I thought, I'll go off the pill. I've been on the pill for 15 or 20 years. I mean, finally I'll go off. It turns out I couldn't have children.
Mm-hmm.
And the pill was keep masking
Mm-hmm.
the symptoms. So I went off the pill and I thought, okay, I'll get pregnant. Turns out I couldn't have children. And so I had to go to a specialist and have surgeries and take all kinds of stuff and do all kinds of things.
They basically unclogged your tubes.
My fallopian tubes were blocked.
Yeah.
And they were so damaged, they said you can never have children.
They said
And
it was like a flat tire. Like
it was a flat tire.
oh,
Yes. Anyway,
Couldn't
so
drop any eggs.
it was so sad. The eggs couldn't come down. It was pitiful. I was so devastated. I just assumed I could always have children. So I gave up, went to Hawaii with my husband and just said, let's just get away from all this stress. And that's why I got pregnant.
With my sister.
So after the sister, they wrote that in the New England Medical Journal, by the way, because that was never supposed to happen, that I could have children.
Which they called a mistake. They said, oh, this is our mistake. You'll never have another one.
Never have another one. And I said, well, yeah, I'd really, really like to have another one. And so tried same thing again. Was not able to have a baby or get pregnant. And
Oh, I want to mention in this time, though, not to kill the arc of your climax right there, but you decided to hire a nanny to help raise
Marie.
my sister,
Yeah.
which she was there. She came into Megan's life at how many months
Megan
old?
was 6 months old, and I was working for the Weintraub Entertainment Group. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Jerry Weintraub, which some of you may or may not
You
recognize. the
know
name.
my lawyer is Weintraub Tobin. My
Well, there's a lot of
entertainment
Weintraubs in Hollywood. I'm not sure if he's related, but anyway.
lawyer. Okay, so you decided to hire a nanny. What made that decision to
So
bring
when I
someone
went
into
back
your
to
life?
work, I needed a nanny, and I hired Marie.
Uh-huh.
And Marie was with us for 22 years and is definitely who raised you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's part of our lives. Anyway,
Yeah.
having said that, I gave up on trying to have a second child.
And Marie tells the story that she would catch you crying
I was
in the
crying.
bathroom.
I was so sad. I was
And-
so sad.
You were sad, and Marie would cheer
Yeah.
you up.
It was, no.
She wouldn't?
What?
Marie's a little tough on the outside.
Marie
She's a tough cookie.
she would say, "On Miss Christie."
She's Belizean. So
She
she's
better,
got-
yeah, Miss Christie, yo.
What fucking accent? We don't have to do the accent.
Okay, anyway, so then I gave up on trying, and Dad and I again went to
Catalina Island.
Catalina Island. There's something about islands, and that's where you were conceived. Is
And then
Catalina.
they said I was a miracle.
You were miracle
because
number
you
2.
weren't supposed to have
And you
kids
know
at
what? Though, can I
all.
tell you something?
Yes.
That we never used any birth control from the time you were born, and I couldn't. I literally could not get pregnant. I mean, never use birth control again because my plumbing is messed up.
With
I don't know. My
blocked.
plumbing's messed up. So anyway, so that's how you guys came along, and then I started selling real estate, and 35 years later, that's just the whole.
So you really didn't even start the thing that made you incredibly successful and wealthy and happy until you were what age?
About 38.
So kids out there know that you don't have to know what you want to do until you're 38. Oprah was like 40.
One of the more successful realtors in Tampa was in her 50s. She'd raised her children, and after the children were grown, and that was my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her dearly, and she passed away a few years ago. But she didn't start till she was in her 50s, and she became the #1 realtor in Tampa, and she was a 50-year-old woman. And I'm going, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the thing is that we all have in common is that we are passionate, and it's genuine what we feel about what we do.
I joke that like #1 is in your life is your job. #2 in your life is your job. #3 in your life is your job.
I really like my job.
So like I remember trying to take you to therapy with me once because we don't have a very traditionally like mom daughter. Like I don't even mean in the sense of like you worked instead of making peanut butter and jellies. I just mean like our relationship. Like I consider Marie to be more of like that motherly,
But
nurturing.
she was more nurturing type. I was there for the strength side of what
So I tried to take you to therapy so that we could like talk about it because do you feel like you have a more sensitive relationship with Megan, my sister?
No.
You don't think you're more like gentile with her?
No.
Really?
No.
It feels like it with her you have
You don't know. Because
you
you
why
live
do you
here,
think
you don't
I'm
live in home.
hardened to emotion with you.
Because
women?
you're like me.
The hoe don't fall
Okay,
too far
let's
from
talk
the
about when your
tree.
birthday is. It's 2 days before mine. Two
Yes,
Leo
yes.
women.
Yeah.
I
So
said,
do you think at all maybe perhaps you projected a little bit of yourself onto me to be this way and that what I really want is a relationship to be like super tight and lovey-dovey?
No. You
Oh,
totally
okay.
were. You came out with your freaking head spinning around, looking up, going, bitch, I'm going to take over the world, pissed off when you were born.
Yeah, I was
You
apparently
never,
angry.
you never weren't you. So
it-
I didn't make you anything.
Yeah.
You came out and I went, what is that?
Oh. So when I started having issues with my mental health, I mean, I was a really hormonal teenager, to say the least.
You were dramatic always when you were from the time you were born. There was drama. You were drama.
I was an actor. I was always in theater.
Drama.
I liked attention.
So when you started displaying emotional, mental health issues, it was just another part of the drama. So it's kind of like,
it wasn't that.
it wasn't
like,
anything
out of the
different.
blue
yeah,
to
you were
be
always like when you were little, you demanded attention. When you were 2 years old, 1 year old.
I would literally stand in front of the recording camera and go, hi, 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 cheese. And my dad would be like, Kelsey, get out of the way. Let me like film this vacation we're on.
When
And
you
I
were no teeth, no
Yeah.
hair, you were probably 2 years old.
And I would,
Cheese.
cheese.
Yeah, you were always you.
Yeah.
No, so I didn't make you, honey, anything. You have your mama's DNA, and Megan has her father's DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I can't change the fact that I wasn't a stay-home, leave it to Beaver, wear the little dress with the apron on type.
Yeah, but then you have a
housewife.
problem with my leg hair.
That is ugly.
I think it's because my legs
No,
are
honey.
ugly.
No, but it's
have
no.
these scars
Why?
and
You know what?
very
It
pale.
looks like a gorilla's leg. It is not a try.
I
And
think
you know
it's
what?
like
It'd be different if you
a
had
cute little
blonde
cat.
peach fuzz hair, but your hair color's black and it's
Anyway.
pubic hair texture, and I don't like it.
Okay. Moving on.
If it was white little peach fuzz. It'd be different.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Moving on to the most important part of your life story, which is me.
It's all about you, honey.
You became a celebrity of sorts to your career. What do you think about what I'm doing and how I do things?
I think that you've held true to who you are, which is amazing, and you don't act. You don't act.
Mm-mm.
You don't act.
Mm-mm.
It's all like, because people say, "Oh, she's so funny," and I said, it's real how she is daily at home. This is what I had to live with. So I think it's amazing that you, by just being you, and boy, are you lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be a message to everybody that what people are drawn to is the unique,
most authentic self.
authentic
Yeah.
you.
Did you ever care when people would like say mean things about me on the internet or anything?
No, I was too busy. I didn't really read your stuff.
I feel like, because I would get a lot of comments when I first started working at
you saw that,
BuzzFeed where
yeah.
people would be like, she's too loud. God, I fucking hate her. I don't know what it is about her. She's so obnoxious. I can't
That was your
stand, like-
dad.
Oh.
Writing all of those because he'd say, she can't talk like that. You know she can't talk like that.
He would be sad that I would cuss so much because he wouldn't be able to show my work to people.
Yeah, I know. And, well, he was all
It
about...
would be like 5 ways to take
But
a
your dad-
tampon out. And he was like, who can I
Who can I
fucking
show this to? The
to?
guys at the golf course? Hey, you guys want to see my daughter's latest production?
Yeah, but I feel like now that I'm on a TV show on E, which our holiday special is on Sunday, the 8th, if you want to watch. This will be on after. Never mind. It starts in February again, the 2nd, whatever.
Well, why are you going on about that?
I was trying to plug. My point is, I think now that I'm on a TV show and Dad has something to point to, but I'm still not
He
successful.
still says that you shouldn't talk like that.
But I'm still not successful considering.
What? By whose measure and standard? By the...
LA.
How, for your age?
I'm almost 30.
No, for 29 years old, I think that you are crazy successful and that you are not due yet. It is not time yet.
I have a
You are
feeling
not
that-
supposed to be anything more right now, Kelsey.
I look at people like
But
Eliza
you know what, that drive?
Schlesinger, yeah,
That
she's
drive?
like 36, and I'm like, oh, I still have 7 years.
that
to
drive,
get
that
5
drive,
Netflix
it's
specials,
never
yeah.
good enough because then when you get
Yeah.
that little bit more success, because the more successful I got, it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't about the money wasn't enough. I wasn't done yet. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
I'm not done yet. I knew I wasn't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably be in my 80s going, I'm not done yet.
Yeah, no,
I'm not done
you
yet.
have always made me feel like aging is a privilege and not everyone gets to do that, and that you say it's your act 3 is just getting started, which is always the most interesting and fun act, and you always
I love it.
talked
Yes.
about how you could never pay me to go back and do my 20s. You could never pay me. The 50s and 60s are the best years. You're just getting started. Like, you have always made me feel excited to get older. And I think, like, when I tell people I can't wait to be 30, people are like, oh my God, the 20s are the best years of your life. I'm like,
No,
bitch,
they're not.
my 20s were fucking hell.
You had a horrible decade. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Horrible
I
emphasis on
know.
whore.
I know, but Kelsey, just think it just gets better and better and better.
How
And
much do you like my boyfriend?
I'm in love with Jared. I want to marry him.
You can't.
I know.
You're married.
I know. I just
Do you think I finally have
him.
like chosen the right career, the right dude, the right dog?
you got a dog, a dude.
Barry, he's my foster dog that I'm probably gonna end up keeping.
I'm in love with Jared. Of all the success you've had, that's the most successful thing that you have.
That's really sweet.
No, I'm in love with Jared, and I would marry him in 2 seconds.
Do you think that this relationship remind you of Dad and you?
Yes, it does, because he has tolerance for you. And
You always said I can't.
no,
I
but
can
your
never
dad,
imagine who
your
would
dad
marry
did that
you
for
if
me.
he
Your
was
dad
you.
did that for me because I'm crazy.
Yes, I do.
And I work crazy hours and I don't listen when I'm home, and he hardly gets any piece of me because I'm really not present.
Interested. Oh.
Oh, no, but
kidding.
that's it may seem very selfish or whatever, but it's the ADD mind at work, and it's not on purpose.
I call myself incredible. Like me and Jared joke about how like we're so selfish because we like ourselves, we like our time, we like our things, but we both also do so much for others. Like we're very empathetic and very
You're givers.
giving.
You're givers.
We're both givers.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I think you can be selfish and very giving.
Well,
Like,
it's a
you can
balancing act.
be
It's a balancing
both
act. Yeah.
things.
And
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Like, I'm in my 60s, my husband's 70s, and we're still figuring it out. So don't
What?
I mean,
still figuring what out?
about being the balancing act of being a giver and a taker, like being selfish and
that's
being a
interesting.
giver. No. So like, don't be so hard on yourself, people, is what I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
is because you never really totally are sure. And you can get in your 60s or 70s or 80s and you can look on it and go, did I balance that right? Did I do it right? Was I a giver? Was I a taker? And there's no envelope at the end and you go, ding, 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 ding. You were.
Yeah. You
There's
can be
not.
all the things.
You can be all the things. And so be nice to people.
What's your favorite thing about me?
About you is the energy.
Oh, I feel like I
Energy.
have none.
No.
I'm tired all the fucking time.
The aura.
Oh, that's nice
That
of you to say.
energy.
Same.
Not the yawning.
I'm tired all the time.
I know you are all the time. No, the energy. Walk into a room and it's
I'm on.
a magnet. It's contagious. It's inspiring.
Do you want to know what my favorite thing about you is?
Oh,
The same thing.
you made that up.
No, I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we both have that energy, but that's why we have a 3-day shelf life. 3 days.
You say this. I think the 3-day shelf life was when I was in my early
Oh, you
20s.
were just nasty. You were not nice.
How was I not nice?
Because you were too selfish
Controlling.
and hyper-focused.
I'm a control freak.
I want it now.
And I liked things to be done the way I like them to be
Oh,
done.
you've matured and gotten more graceful.
Are you happy with the way I've turned out?
Yes, very happy. And that's what I say. I'm very proud of both of my girls. I love my husband.
You love your dog.
I love my dog and my cat.
But you love one cat more than the other. Let's be real.
Yeah, the cat's really mean.
That's like your daughters.
And I'm at that point in my life to where in my career, what I do mainly with selling is still very gratifying, but I'm not done yet.
What is one thing you have yet to accomplish in your life that you still want to do?
Somebody help me.
Like what?
Public speaking.
Really?
I can't.
Oh, I got you. I give speeches all the time.
Yeah, but I know you almost shit your pants every
Yeah, I
time.
called you.
You tell Uncle Mom I'm going to shit my pants and throw up. I go, okay,
Yeah.
then you're normal.
Yeah.
That
You
part-
can public speak.
I do wonderful, but for a week before I do the speaking, I almost have a freaking heart attack.
Yeah, because you micro
Because
manage and overanalyze.
Because and I would like to be able to be as comfortable with that as I've gotten with giving my presentations, because I do presentations.
Let's set a goal then. What's something
How do you
you'd
do
like
that?
to accomplish?
But sometimes I say, how much can I be perfect?
No.
No,
That doesn't
So
exist.
why do I want to? It's so terrifying to me, and it drains me. How
You're
much?
a performer, though. I feel like you would thrive off the energy of an audience.
Well, see, I think the stress, because I do such a high level of business, that your body can only tolerate so much, and you got to like pick and choose. And so that's something that's going to take a lot for me to get over. But anyway, you asked. That's
No,
it.
I think that's a fun goal.
Public speaking.
I bet you could give a speech.
Do you know what I'm going to tell you today? Is if I wasn't working at the level that I work in sales, and let's just say I wanted to take on a project of getting good at public speaking, and I would have to take away that stress
of your job,
of my job,
and become the best,
and then say, "Damn it,
motivational.
I'm going to
speaker.
get this."
Yeah,
I would do it.
but you put all your.
I can't take all my stress.
Yeah,
I can't take it all. Anyway, so that's that. So
I think that's a fun goal to have. I bet you could give a speech.
Oh, people love my talks. I do once a year for my company, and everybody comes
But you stress out too much for the week.
But
before.
people love it. They said, I can't believe that you say that you're that stressed or that you get stressed before it. They say they can't tell, but
Am I your best friend?
no,
Who's your best friend? Beth?
my sister probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's no offense.
I'm not taking.
And Dad is to a certain extent
Yeah.
too, but no,
Okay.
you are at another level than a best friend would be.
Good save.
No, it's different, honey.
Hmm.
It's different. A best friend is like
Someone you call.
my sister. Yeah, you won't even never talk to me. How am I supposed to be
What
your?
do you mean? We talk every day.
You don't.
We text.
I
I can't be on the phone. It's bad for my neck.
If Jared called you, you would pick up.
We text all day.
Is Jared your best friend?
Yeah. But Lacey's my best friend.
What's Jared?
My other best friend. But Lacey's my
Who's
best
the best friend?
Lacey.
Jared.
Jared's my partner for life. He's crying.
But you know what? I didn't say my husband was my best friend because he's
Yeah.
not. He's on a different level.
It's different.
Yeah, my sister's my best friend.
So, Mom, if you could give one piece of advice to our confidants out there listening.
About what?
I don't know. Just anything. I don't give
Don't
a
be
shit.
so hard on yourself. And if you do what you love and stay authentic, and people can't find that anymore. People cannot find authenticity. And man, is that scarce and rare. If you can do that and be passionate about what you do and be nice. Just be nice.
So much easier to be kind.
It's just
Except to you. For some reason, I'm a huge cunt. It's very hard to be kind.
to me.
Isn't it? Don't you?
Yeah,
isn't
we
that what you're
battle
saying?
because it's that Leo battle.
It takes. I tell my therapist I have to take like very mindful moments and. Well, it's. I think it's just any parent. It's like you're easy to snap at a parent and be like, "Oh God, just do this," or like, "Can I just have this thing?" or "Can you just do this?"
You're
for
a
me?
very kind person to everybody, but then the mother Leo and the daughter Leo,
2 lions.
it's too much.
Did my foster dog fart? Oh.
Anyway, thank you for having me on your
Thanks
podcast.
for coming on.
I've
This
never
was
did one
fun,
of these
wasn't it?
before.
Will you listen to this episode and send it to everyone?
Did I say anything bad?
No.
Okay, then I will.
Okay. Thanks, confidants. You can follow my mom at Florida Executive Realty if you ever need a house to buy or sell. You want to plug anything else?
No, that's weird.
Okay. Well, I will see you guys next week. I hope you've enjoyed this holiday season of guests. I'm really having fun with the last couple of episodes. Make sure to subscribe to this on iTunes. And we're so few reviews away from 1,000 reviews on iTunes, you guys. Please leave a review. It very, 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 very much helps. At Confidently Pod for all the things, Confidentlyinsecurepodcast at gmail.com. And also, we're probably going to be doing a fundraiser for a foster dog for an eye surgery. So be on the lookout for that in this holiday season if you can find it in your heart to give. He has hot stinky farts. He needs help. And we'll see you next week. Bye.